All right, all right. So with that being said, let me grab one thing. We're gonna get started, Noble. Everybody, get y'all some water. Yeah, you can come in. Tell him to come in. Right with y'all, Noble. Yeah, you good, Noble? Please. Yep. Peace, nobles. Peace, 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 peace. Islam and Islam. To everybody that's here, taking time out your day. It's gonna be a nice teaching. Gratitude for our noble Malik that's here. Gratitude. Gratitude for healing. So let's do our Moorish American prayer. We're gonna get right into it. Maso, you want to lead, Noble?
Allah, Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Nabi Ali, Shalom Alakim, Ayah Asha'ayah, Shalom Wadu, peace, 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 peace.
Peace, Noble. Gratitude, man. We're gonna always like I said, we like to be correct with definitions and how we speak. And we're not here to debate anyone's religion or nothing like that. We're not here to tell people that or you're this or you're that, because that's not our concern. We know who we are, and we're coming together to teach those that understand like we understand. So I always like to say that because it's our own people that we have to continue to check, because the rest of the world knows exactly who and what we are. So I always be clear. Oh, I'm sorry about that, y'all. So I always want to be clear when I speak. I say it's like, I'm not here to destroy. I'm here to fulfill. And I'm coming as a teacher to teach. And when you research and when you study, you will understand. And it will be no debate, because more science is not a debate. You can't debate science. In science, you can't debate law. You can arbitrarily explain it, but we're not here to do that. So, like I tell everyone, as I do research, and I tell us, we are the only ones that don't understand dictionary etymology and the science of words, depending on what context is being used and what science is being used. If we're dealing with law, if we're dealing with history, what type of law, all those ramifications is very, very important to kind of stay in that line. So when we talk about history and what not only our prophets and our teachers wrote in the flesh and those that's gone, but also the misnomer European or the how can I say it, the Tralodite or the Albion, whatever you want to connotate it, even the European Mason, that's a son of Muslim, they will agree to what I'm saying because it's scholarship and it can be researched. It's nothing to debate. The only reason why you don't know who you are, because it's yours. And when you see me, this is ancient. It's nothing new what we're doing. So, from Nearpian, an Arab, A-R-A-P, and how they changed the spelling, A-R-A-B, according to Vladimir Dale's 1863 dictionary, meant a black-skinned person. And see, and as we start to do historical science, we got to be correct. It's not saying that, just because this, I'm better. No, your heart makes you better, but you have a nationality and you were here. Because in the beginning, the world was dark. So we coming from a status and we coming from a standpoint of peace. It's nothing to argue. So can you pull it up? Look at the brother with his darker skin, with his turban on his head, with his Moorish attire. And when we start showing, we're going to be showing you pictures not only from our authors, but from other authors that saw what they saw when they came to the Americas, the copper-colored races. Many American misnomer Negroes are indistinguishable from Arabs. Ooh, many American Negroes are indistinguishable from Arabs. The New York Times, February 2nd, 1045. Just like when I tell y'all the second president of Egypt, I forget his name. He said the reason why Israel was cursed because God's people left black and came back white. I think it was Nisar. You research that. Reports of the meeting between President Roosevelt and King Ibn Saud. It was a matter of considerable astonishment of the king's servants to discover American Negro cooks and mess boys. And then it's in quote, because this is underlined. And it was more than difficult to persuade them that these were not also Arabs. The matter was never entirely cleared up. Nature knows no color lines. Research, the late research into the Negro ancestry in the white race, also by J.A. Rogers, page 57. And so, to the Cushite race belong the oldest and purest Arabian blood. There were the original Arabians and the creators of the ancient civilization, evidence of which may be seen in the stupendous ruins to be found in every part of the country family. At the time that Ethiopians, real known as Abyssinians, began to show power as monarchs of Egypt around 3000 to 3500 BC, the western part of Arabia was divided into two powerful kingdoms. And the source of that, you can research this, is The Wonderful Ethiopians of the Ancient Kushite Empire by Drusilla Dungy Houston, 1926. Arab, to become evening, grow dark. Arab, to become evening. To become evening, that means it's a change. It gets dark, right, y'all? Grow dark. See, we're dealing with definitions. We're not here. It's too simple. The source is what? The Strong's Concordance. Page 6150. Arab. And I quote, the original inhabitants of Arabia were not the familiar Arabs of our own time, but a very much darker people, a proto-Negroid belt of mankind stretched across, thank you, Noble, thank you, the ancient world from Africa to Malaya. This belt, by environmental and other evolutionary processes, became in parts transformed, giving rise to the Hamitic people of Africa, to the Dravidian people of India, and to intermediate dark people inhabiting the Arabian Peninsula. In the course of time, two big migrations of fair-skinned people came from the north, One of them, the Mongoloids, to break through and transform the dark belt of the man beyond India. The other, the Caucasoids, to drive a wedge between India and Africa. That's in the book I told y'all, The Arabs, by Burchell and Thomas, page 339. It ain't nothing to argue about. You can also research it in Jackson J, 1970, Introduction to African Civilization. New York, Kingston publication. You ain't got to be, it's nothing to argue about. Can you shrink it down a little bit, Noble, and pull it up some? Gratitude, Noble. Gratitude. As we continue to go on, it's nothing to argue about. When we do history, this is history class. You can't get mad. There's nothing to be mad about. An Arab, A-R-A-P. English, they spell it A-R-A-B. According to Vladimir Dale's 1863 dictionary, meant a black-skinned person from the hot countries, mainly Africa. I mean, what? Look at the painting. Painting of Emperor's Palace with an Arab, a.k.a. Arab, serving there. Mahale Ziki Hermitage Museum. It's in the museum. The source, how did Africans prosper in Tsar Russia? In where? Russia. Can you pull it up some, Noble? We in class. We in American history class.
So, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
So, I can't. He's controlling. A minute ago, can you go back down a little bit? Sorry. Right above the picture. So right above that sentence right above the picture. No. Right above the second picture that shows the Moor and the other person. So go down. Go down. It was the last sentence he read before you moved to the new screen. So right below this picture. Okay, right here. Okay, right. So it says an Arab, according to Vladimir Dale's dictionary, meant a black-skinned person from the hot countries. So they weren't talking about one specific land, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we're talking about a whole region.
Yep. Islam, Noble. Islam. Uniting. Why are we letting people separate us? The history reveals this. We ain't here to destroy it. We're here to fulfill what? The truth. And the truth will make you free. Can you blow it up, Noble, and go down as we proceed?
Thank you, Malik. Yeah.
All right. You can pull it up some more. Bam, Noble. All right. Melech, Yafrik, king of Arabia, Felix, who conducted a people called Sabisi into Libya, made himself master of that country, established his followers there, and gave them the name Africa. Source, History of the Moors of Spain by M. Florian. Arabia, Felix, Egypt, Nubia, East North Africa. This is a 1579 Petrie rare woodcut old map. Issued Basel, 1576 by Henry Petrie of Pompani, Malai di Orbsi. Charming and quite rare, the 16th century woodblock miniature map. Despite the title, the map includes almost the entire Arabian Peninsula as well as the coast of Persia. I hope y'all understand. Pull it up, Noble. Can you shrink it just a little bit because I can't see the words? Thank you, Noble. So this is your part that my Noble love. Malik, or Malik. See how the spelling is the Semitic term translating to king, recorded in East Semitic and later Northwest Semitic, Aramaic, Canaanite, Hebrew, and Arabic. The earliest form of the name, Malak, was used to denote a prince of chieftain in the East Semitic Chaldean language of the Mesopotamia state of Akkad. Assyria, Babylonia, and Chaldea, the Northwest Semitic, the MLK, was the title of the rulers of the primary Amorite, Sultan, Canaanite, Phoenician, and Aramean states of the Levant and Canaan from the late Bronze Age. From the late Bronze Age, eventually derivates into the Aramaic, or how can I say, is synonymous, Neo-Assyrian, Mandic, and Arabic forms. So all these different spellings of Malik, M-A-L-I-K, M-A-L-E-K, M-A-L-L-I-C-K, all these different other variants, M-A-L-K-A-I, and the Hebrew form, M-E-L-E-K. So Moloch has been traditionally, interpreted the epithet of a god known as the king, like Baal was the, how can I say it, was known or was given the title or the abdomen, the master, the Adon, the Lord. But the case of Moloch, purposely mispronounced as Molech instead of Malik, using the vowels of the Hebrew, the Bashik, the Shem. See, these is facts. It's nothing to argue. Molech, ancient deity. Arabia, Felix, literally fertile. Arabia, also ancient Greek. Arabia was the Latin name previously used by the geographers to describe South Arabia, or what is known as Yemen, or now Yemen. And the term fertile Arabia is a translation of the Latin Arabia Felix. Felix means fecund, fertile, but also happy, fortunate, blessed. Arabia Felix was one of the three regions into which the Romans divided the Arabian Peninsula. You got the Arabian Deserta, Arabia Felix, and Arabia Petria or Patria. The Greeks and the Romans called Yemen Arabian Felix. Do some history. What source? Political leaders of the contemporary Middle East and North Africa, edited by Bernard Reach. So
I got a question.
Go ahead, Nova.
I got a couple questions. So Malik, did your mom and dad ever say why they named you Malik?
Because it meant king.
Okay.
Just like my name, Kari Hakim. Our names mean something. So as you get to history, our parents named us based off who we are, based off our nature, based off, so our names meant something.
Say, Noble, can you also, is that also where they pretty much, where the Masons kind of hijacked the Moloch thing?
Yeah!
With the whole owl, which is a symbol of the Lord.
Noble, same old thing with about in memory help around Mabiff, how they got the misnomer nigga walking around and they don't know what they doing. They done buried you in the shallow grave and done spread you the part where? In the east and had a jubilee. Same stuff. Absolutely, Noble.
That makes
Also with Tubal Cain, chopping your balls off, then they walking around with your balls on their side. You don't even know what it's all about. See? So it ain't me. It's the truth. The European agree with what I'm saying. They sons of Muslims. So as we proceed, Nobles, Strabo and Diodorus, these are writers in history. When I tell y'all, the Europeans are going to agree with what I'm saying. And other ancients who identify everything east of the Nile as Arabia. When we were describing Arabia, we included the description, the Gauls, which compress and make it a peninsula, namely the Gauls of Arabia and Persis, which described at the same time some parts of Egypt and those of Ethiopia, inhabited by the troglodyte and by the people situated next to them, extending to the confines of the cinnamon country. We quote in the book, a Strabo book, 17 and 1. Here go another picture. Go ahead, Noble.
So Diodorus, there was a shoe called Diodorus.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
You know, there was it's like you really start to, if you can start to think.
And then I'll teach you about the symbol of the shoe too. But go ahead, Noble.
Yeah, they've been using our names, history, symbols, everything.
You know why? Because it's coming from Europe. We don't know.
Right, because we don't know. So we don't, that's cool. You mean, knowing like that might be your blood ancestor.
Just like the lotto, that come from Europe. That's the circle and the square. Compound in one. Remember the shoe lotto?
Yeah. Yeah, lotto. And it had the checkerboard on it.
Yeah. On the side, I'm telling you. Man,
It's all coming back to me now.
and so you see these sources. Blow it up. Look at the half-length portrait of an Arab boy. This is by. Can you blow that up a little bit, Noble? These ain't. And when you see the authors that these ain't Asiatic. These is the European. They showing what they saw. Just like a cartographer. Look at the half-length portrait of an Arab boy, Frederick Goodall, 1822 to 1904. This is what they said. What an Arab. And look at his fez. Look at his soft fez on. Or when you turn that inside out, what is it? The Liberty Bell. I mean, it's just what it is. I mean, come on. You can't deny history. Proceed, Noble. Keep going. Can you shrink it down a little bit? Let's proceed. They want to act like it ain't no proof of who we are all through the history book. Stop lying. Here go a noun, Arab, feminine, equivalent, Arabsa. 1, a black person. 2, Arab, source, Arab. Look at another Arab. Can you blow that up? Let's look at the picture. See what it say under the picture. Look at the brother. He looked like one of my homies in Vegas. An Arab tribesman. An Arab tribesman. Here again by Frederick Goodall, 1822 to 1904. Research who Frederick Goodall is. And then you're going to remove all your body. Like, he just recording what he saw. Bertram Thomas, all them Europeans recording what they saw. Where? In America. What the hell an Arab is. You and me. He look just like, look, me and you. That can be me. That can be you. Because it is me or you.
I saw a brother today, literally at a funeral services, who looked just like this brother right here.
Proceed, Noble. Islam.
That's crazy.
Yes. Can we keep going, Noble? This is no slander. This is what this is history. This is what I did in college and got a standing ovation. I have all the professors getting all my books. This is history. Arab, Cyrillic spelling, APAN, colloquial, Arab, person of Arab origin, from Arabic, Arab, proper noun edit, ARAP, the proper noun edit. So the proper way, Arab, what is ancient? Come on. Dated, a black person. Dated means dated formally in common use. Listen to me. Dated means in history, dated formally common in use. That means before all this stuff, all this modern stuff. What is the etymology? What is it used for? Dated formally in common use. That means it was common and still is occasionally used, but now unfashionably. Just like in the 1828 Webster Dictionary. What is an American? A copper colored racist found here by the Europeans. But now, come on, man. Look at the more. Keep going. Keep going, Noble. Pull it up. Look at the more. Portrait of a young Abram Hannibal. Look at the Noble. Look at the Noble. Look how beautiful he looked. Look at the picture. Look how dashing he looks. Look at that brother. Look at that brother. Ain't nobody just paint no portrait of nobody made up. Look at that brother. Look how dashing he looks. Look at what he got. Look at his dagger. Yeah, he got his scimitar. Look at him. Look at his Moorish guard. Look at his earrings.
Yeah. Hey, we had to be like really, like they probably thought we really did come from some other.
They saw gods. When they say gods, that's what they talking about. They saw the gods. They saw the gods of earth. That's exactly what they saw. The gods of earth. That's exactly what they saw. The term aswad or aswad was used in Arabic literature to describe any dark-skinned person, not necessarily a black African. Stay in context. The Arabs are depicted as white-skinned in the Hadith and as dark-skinned in the Misra. I hope y'all following me, but the perception of color is relative and in the eye of the perceiver. The Jew, the Arab, was dark, as we saw in several other examples. And for our purpose, the important point is that the rabbinic story, the dark-skinned Arab, is called what, y'all? Cushi. Cushi. I'm telling you, it's nothing to deny. What made you hate you? Such usage.
One of the biggest pieces of marijuana.
Come on, Noble. Such usage is echoed in the Byzantine sources, in which we find, after the 4th century, that same terms, Indian and Indians, refer to 3 different places and its people: the Indian subcontinent, South Arabia, and Ethiopia. Some would date this usage as early as the 3rd century. And you got to understand also that the troglodytes on the east coast of Africa were variously classified as Ethiopians, Arabs, or Indians by classical writers. Do some history. We ain't here to do no guessing or have no feeling games. I ain't here for that. And the confusion.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Noble.
If I'm understanding that last, so it said those who also that the troglodytes, like, you don't know who troglodytes are. Were variously classified as Ethiopians, Arabs, or Indians, which means they were given an identity that wasn't theirs. Right?
Catch it. Message. Is,
I'm understanding that right.
you teach it.
Like if you telling a story, you be like, oh my homeboy, you know what I mean, boo, 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 whatever you stand, and then somebody be like, oh shit, your homie, and then come meet him and be some European, he's like, oh, that's your homie. Like, oh yeah, that was the homie I was talking about. The context would be like, oh, that's not who I was thinking based off what you were saying.
Islam. Based off the Islam, Noble. And see, that's why the confusion in antiquity and late antiquity of terms of Indian and Ethiopia and the use of Indian to refer to South Arabians thus parallels the rabbinic usage of Cushi for Arab. The rabbinic view of the Arab as dark-skinned is perhaps echoed in the name of Akbar. Akbar the Kahama or Ka'ama, the king of Edessa, Edessa, in the 1st century CE. And many of the Abgar dynasty were ethnically Arab. And Abgar itself is an Arabic name. Start doing some science. You'll be like, whoa. And then the European historian Tacitus specifically refers to Abgar V as an Arab who led Arab troops. The name Ukama or Ukama, Ukkama, is Syriac, the language of Edessa, and means black, and means black, and means black, and means black. Although there is some dispute as to why Abgar was called the black, there is a good possibility that his skin color was the reason. That's why. And we know of a number of individuals in antiquity and late antiquity who were nicknamed the Black. Why? Because of what they look like. Let's give another example. Josephus, for example, mentioned a Niger or a nigger, which they like to say, of Pereira, who was general of the Jewish army in the war against Rome, as well as one-time governor of Idumea or Idumea, Idumea. Nigger, Niger, how they want to try to change it, and various derivatives were Latin cognomens, just like an abdomen, cognomen, for the color of one's hair, eyes, or skin. Islam? Come on, man, talk to me, man.
Is that Flavius Josephus that they reference?
Absolutely. If y'all with me, talk to me. The prophet of a teacher at Antioch, Simon, called what? Nigger. They're gonna try to say, what is Niger? No, nigger. Please stop playing. It's in Acts 13:1. Apparently got his cognomen because of his dark complexion. They're gonna try, no, Simon called Niger. Stop playing. Niger, nigger, no. Y'all calling that in Acts 13:1 because of his dark complexion. And then in Syriac, we know of Mar Ukama, who was one of the founders of a monastery in the 7th century. Indeed, such nicknames seem to be a universal phenomenon. Just like when you see Saint Mark the Moor. Look at his pictures. I showed y'all that I got from the library. They got the Egyptian Moors. Come on, with the feathers on and everything. And it is therefore not unlikely that Abgar Ukama was so named because of his Arabic dark complexion in the eyes of the surrounding population. And just as the Jewish of Palestine considered their Arabs to be dark-skinned family, used the term Cushi to refer to a dark-skinned Arab, continue into the Jewish Middle Ages. These are facts. You can't get mad at history. A Hebrew poem found, and it's a Hebrew poem found in Cairo. Ginzir records the Fatid or the Fatimid campaign against the Banu Jara in early 11th century, written by Manim B. Rabbi Yam Tav. Shortly after the event, it refers to the Banu Jara, who were from South Arabia and had very dark skin, as Cushim. And according to Ezra Fleschers, who published the poem, a contemporaneous source, the poem Bikum I Vingum Siduf by Joseph Ibn Abtur also refers to the Banu Jara in this way, calling them Cushim, while a letter from Sadak Havlin bin Levi in Israel called them Shemorim, blacks. I'm telling you. Another example from the Middle Ages is afforded by several medieval exegetes who commended the biblical identification of Moses' wife as Cushite. Read Numbers chapter 12, verse 1. Following the line that Moses' wife, Zipporah, Exodus chapter 2, verse 21. They said that since Zipporah was a Mennonite, Arab, Ishmaelite, she was called a Cushite because she was very dark, like the Cushites. And this view of the Arab as dark skinned is also found among other people, as in identified by the term Arab with the P. Arab, meaning black African, in modern Turkish, Greek, and Russian, as well as Yiddish, which I call gibberish. And the meaning of Cushi as dark skin occurs also in the 10th century. Apocalypse de Ginza, the fragment dealing with the Byzantine Empire from Michael III to Romanus in 842 to 944 CE. According to this text, Emperor Leo the Wise made a close favorite of his, a Cushi, co-emperor for 22 years of his reign. Islam?
Islam.
Talk to me. Talk to me, man. Source, the Kush of Ham. Go ahead, Noble.
Does everybody know what contemporaneous means?
That's what we saying. If you in class, don't let me just read over something you don't know. Stop me, like, you gotta write this stuff down, because what if the test was just on the words that you didn't know? You will be out there baffled. I'm trying to get us to think. We can't just sit in class and arbitrarily explain words. That's why Barclay keeps stopping. Like, do you know what this means? You got to, or it'll mess everything else up.
So, contemporaneous is originating, exhibiting, existing, or happening during the same period of time. You know, or living, existing at that time.
So
this goes back to the Sheik's point. He says all the time when he says, you know, the Europeans wrote what they saw. This is somebody from that time who wrote a poem, who was living around that time in that area, speaking about what he was looking at.
Islam, Noble. Let's go up. Pull it back up. Let's finish. Arabia, Hebrew, black, or Harabi. It's an ancient book called The Science of Harabi. I'll talk about that another time. A thief or robber, the one account of their swarthy complexion. Here we go, swarthy. This like swarthy pyre, the black Pete from the Netherlands. Complexion, and the later an account of the thievish disposition. Every time they want to deal with your darker skin, they want to try to call you a thief and all that, but we know better. It's a trick. It's a linguistic trick. The Arabians, having in all ages been so addicted to this vice that, as the Matin Del Rio observed, it was unusual with the Jews to call a thief an Arabian, and it was to call a merchant a Canaanite. To call a merchant a Canaanite, to call a merchant a Canaanite, and a mathematician a Chaldean. That's all you. That's all you. And you out here playing, acting stupid. They explained what they saw. We can be all those. Your ass can be a thief. You can be a merchant. You can be a Canaanite and a mathematician and a mathematician is a Chaldean. You.
So let me ask. So the writers were writing basically for their people or who they represented at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't writing for us. They were writing for their people who look like them or think like them or rock with them so that they would look at us in a particular fashion. It just so happens that as time is going on, history is coming.
You went out, Barclay. You went out, no?
And Malik uses this example all the time. It just so happens that the people that they were writing about are now reading that literature.
Yeah. Yeah, and our own people trying to hide it and keeping us talking about some damn reparations. We understand that, but we got to restore first. Islam?
Islam.
So, the Dictionary Britannicum, or a more complete universal etymological, you could in 1742. So let's go down. When they talk about the Arabian, we read that. The source is the dictionary. The source is the dictionary of races. And so you saw all that. The Arabians are related to the Hebrews and include Arabs proper and the wandering Bedouins tribes of the desert. See Semitic, Hamitic. We talk about all those other tribes as well. They have long since spread out from the country that bears the name and settled in the distant portions of Africa and Asia, as well as penetrated into Europe. They have given their language through the Koran or the Quran to the vaster populations of Mohammedan faith. They are not to be confounded with the Turks, who are Mongolian, Tatar in origin and speech rather than Caucasian. Neither are they closely related to the Syrians, who are Christian and Aryans, not Semites, nor even to the Berbers and the modern Moors of northern Africa, who are Hamitic, rather than Semitic in origin. 1 second, y'all. 1 second. So, yet Syrians and Moors alike have long used the Arabic tongue. Dictionary of Races of People by the United States Immigration Commission, 1907 and 1910. So let's go down a little bit. I want to go. Let's fast forward through this a little bit, Noble. Can you go up a little bit? Because I want to end. I want to just make a little point. Go up. Okay, stop right there. Go down a little bit. Go back down a little bit. I want to read this caption. Go back down a little bit. Yep. Back more. Back more. All right. Back more. Back more. Back more. Stop right there. Wait, go up one more time. Go up one more time. All right. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Okay, so bam, right there. So when we are describing Arabia, we include in the description of the Gulfs, which compress and make in a peninsula, namely the Gulfs of Arabia and of Persia. We describe the same time some parts of Egypt and those of Ethiopia, inhabited by, which we read, the Troglodyte, and by the people situated next to them, extending to the confines of the cinnamon country. Original Arabs and Strabo's geograph of ancient Arabia, the Moors' henchmen and their ruler, are said to live in tents and in a white manors or towers by the sea. In another tale, Marco, in order to achieve one of his heroic deeds, at one point when he is in the accused dungeon of Asik, takes black dye and dyed black his white face. He made of himself a black Arab and led out his good brown steed. Keep going. Keep going up.
You know why they call it cinnamon country?
Go ahead, Malik. Say it again.
Anybody know why they call it cinnamon country?
Because all the melanated people out there in the various shapes.
Well, what color is cinnamon? It's copper, right?
Yep. Yep. Message. Put it up a little bit. Look at the European in the middle in blackface. Trying to look like me and you. Let's read it. Look at the European. See, this ain't no joke. The first one you saw was in England, the Swarty Piet, Black Pete. They celebrate Saturnalia with Santa Claus. And so, look right here. Yep. So look at the European in the middle. You say, what, Empress? Oh. And look in Bulgaria, as among the Roma, blackface is often used as the Arapi Arabs in mumming or mummers parades. In certain villages, entire faces are blackened, and not just with soot, but with a dark black grease paint or polish. Look at that. Read Gerald Creed in 2011, page 190. Go up, Noble. I got my turban too tight.
You look good, though. You got on that good.
Thank you. Here go another source, Fear of the Blackness series, Guide to the Ethnic Origins of the Infernal and Black Saracens. Back when we was teaching last time, Barclay was like, do y'all know what Saracens is? Don't y'all know all this stuff that's dark right here? Y'all can open up these. Y'all know that, right? All this stuff that's bold, y'all can open it up and actually go more intense on that. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It means modern.
I'm just letting y'all know. All this stuff that's bold, those topics, y'all can go in there and study each topic more intense. I'm telling you. So in studying the history of the Arabian Peninsula and use of Arab names in genealogy, one becomes aware that certain of them over time had come to signify things other than what they originally meant among the Arabic speaking, but not Arab historians and their translators. For example, the names that should have been translated as Musri, M-U-S-R-I, or Muzir, M-U-Z-I-R, or Mizraim, came to be translated by writers in our time as Egypt. When I told y'all in the Bible, Mizraim is Egypt. You got to know this. Memphis, you got to know this stuff. Meanwhile, the name of the Arabian tribe of Banu Faris has been translated as Persian, and so on. It is now, for example, that Jafat came to be perceived of as other than an Arabian people. You got to know the language. The name Zanji.
There was to be somebody that was studying Islam.
You say, well, no, absolutely. Absolutely, Noble. They don't study language. They can't. Especially if I said, have you read the Bukhari Hadith? No. So, you talk about some Islam, some black man religion. Man, the Bukhari Hadith talk about your black bleepity bleep. What are you talking about? You ain't read Pooh Diddley. And don't sit up here and be like, oh, don't do that to me. Just like the name Zanji, Z-A-N-J, or Zanjui, Z-A-N-U-J, appears to have been another word for dark-skinned populations, whether from the continent of Asia or Africa, and including the peninsula of Arabia, when you look it up in ancient writings.
Hold on, back up.
Yeah. Yes, Noble, it's all in history.
Calm down. Back up.
Yes.
Another word for dark-skinned populations, whether from the continent of Asia
Yep.
or Africa,
Yep.
including the peninsula of Arabia.
Yep. So when you be seeing those martial arts moves and you catch the language, you're like, did he just say Zanji? Did he just say Zanji? Yeah. He talking about I'm telling you. I'm trying to tell you, you don't know language. And that's why they be laughing at us. I'm telling you. That's why I don't get that. The only backlash I get is from goofy Negroes. I don't get no backlash from no European, no professors, no buying no high places, no courts, because I'm honorable and I'm a historian and I'm knowledgeable and I'm gonna adapt. It's just what it is. Everything else, you can't be mad at it, man. But absolutely, Malik, you see the name in dark-skinned. It came to mean the rust-colored people. Here we go with that rust copper. But many have been connected to the name of Azani or Azana, A-Z-A-N-I-A, as suggested by David Goldberg. The Iranians, for example, used the word to refer to the darker-skinned Arabs that had been pushed back from Persia. They were considered descendants of Zohak or Zohak, Z-O-H-H-A-K-K, the Arabian. Earliest rulers of Iran, Medes of Persia, appear to have had such names as Deka or Astyac and Decius, translated as Deka. The name is identified by Roslin and Niebert when you research the history, the biting snake, the emblem of the Median power. It should be noted that the name was considered connected to that of the Dey or the Dassas of Central Asia, who were ancestral to the Achaemenians of Persia. These people who built tripura and castles surrounded by the concentric circles were likely that had the first settled in the Asia and in the area of Central Asia, with a culture called Namzia. Y'all got to look up these words. They were originally some connected with the word Davi or Dava, and in fact divine. So when you look up these names, it connects of a dark force, a slave or a servant, as the syncret, as the Armenian related people moved and pushed southward, adopting Homa or Sama practices, and according to the Greeks, even the name Arya itself from the earliest Medes. So all this stuff is going right back to what we say. Go back up a little bit more, nobles. Go up some more because we're going to end. Go up a little bit more. I want to show another picture and we out of here. I want to show one more. I think it got a little bit, go up a little bit more. I know where to stop at because I don't want to read everything. I just want to make points. A little bit more. Keep going. All right. Go back up a little bit. Go back. Okay, start right. All right, go back up to the picture. All right. Source, his daddy was black, his mama was black. So look at a prophet, at Muhammad's lineage. That's Wesley Muhammad. That's why I be telling you, people will tell the truth and things. That's not, we don't get into religion. Look at the brother. Look at one of the brothers of the Moorish Science Temple. And no matter what happened then or there, we ain't here to do that. We here to show history. We ain't talking about the infighting, what people do. We here to show history. All that other stuff, I wasn't there and you wasn't there. So we ain't here to do that. Go up, Noble. Keep going. Keep going. We almost done. All right. So, the curse of Ham, race and slavery in early Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. I just wanted to stop right there. We got to get out of that skin. Our dark skin was never a curse. It never was a curse.
One of the questions of who somebody is.
Yes, it never was a curse. So I ended right there. You know, as the other day we did the other document. So next week we're gonna finish that document. But we wanted to just show this and show this connection of being proud of who we are, showing pictures of who we are. Not let nobody connotate and say, oh, well, this, no. Not let nobody say what Moorish science is. No, we know what Moorish science is. Moorish science is nothing outside of ourselves. We know history and law and civics, but we know Moorish science is connecting God and man as one. We know this. And if you say who you are, you should be able to pull yourself out in all history books, religious books, etc. From love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And with that, I digress, man. Islam? Any questions, nobles?